Welcome back to another day here with Queen City Reefs and more. We're going to be talking about Kalk today. Let's get on to it. I am the new Queen City Reefs and more host. Before we get on to this video, hit that like button, share this video, comment down below what you think, because I already know this is going to be a good video, and smash that subscribe button. We're about to hit 1,000 subscribers, so be ready for that giveaway. Let's get to it.
Hey Reefers, how's it going? I hope you liked that introduction. I hope that got you to want to subscribe, to want to hit that like button and hit the notification bell so that you are alert when all the
Get my dad to 1,000 subscribers.
Today we're going to talk about Kalkwasser. It's definitely something that I've been meaning to bring back because I had some questions in my previous one. I've had those answered. I've had some experience with it. I've been running it for a while, and I want to just walk you through what I'm doing. Alright, so we are now here where my Kalk reactor is located at. And so I brought y'all down here so we can talk a little bit more about the Kalk reactor. For those that have not watched any of my previous videos, I guess I'll touch base real quick on what this is. This here is a Kalk reactor. It's actually an Avast marine Kalk reactor. And pardon the interruption from our family member here. This is Maverick right here. He is our pup, which not so little anymore, but he's part of the family, and being that he's a pup, he will be interrupting a lot. I'm actually needing to put more Kalk because at night my Kalkwasser has gone down to 7.9, and that's when I know that I need more. It's because once at night it gets to under 8.1, I absolutely need more. Normally 8.1 is where it stays, and so below that I know I need more. So one thing about this, right here there is a connection that you can actually hook up a pH probe. The reason why you'd want to hook up a pH probe is because you can monitor the pH level here. The natural pH level of Kalkwasser is 12.4. So basically the pH probe will help measure that, which should bring you at 12.4, and then slowly start going down whenever the potency of this is going low on Kalkwasser, right? And that's when you should know that you're going to add more of the powdered solution to mix there. Now the one thing that I have done, and I don't know if this is recommended, when I first mix it, and before, so I haven't installed the pH probe yet, and I'm going to actually have it. I finally got the module in. I just had to find time to actually hook it up. So not sure that you care to actually see the hookup of it. If you do, let me know and I can absolutely film it. I'll make sure to post this video prior to actually doing that, and then get your comments below on whether it's something you're interested in. But I mean, I honestly think it's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to hook up the Apex module that is going to be hooked up to the pH probe. I'm going to calibrate the pH probe the same way that you calibrate the one for your aquarium through Apex Fusion. And then I'm going to insert the pH probe here to start measuring the pH in this water. Now the one thing that I was getting at was that I don't know if it's a good idea to actually keep the pH probe in here when you're adding the Kalkwasser in here, because what I've noticed is that this whole water turns white almost because of the Kalkwasser, and then it takes some time for it to settle down. And so I don't know if that will mess with the pH probe at all or not. So I guess that's a good thing. Maybe if those that have experience with it can tell me if it is or not. The other thing is I turn off the Versa pump that pumps the lime water into the sump, because I don't know if that's concentrated solution that's going, and I want to keep it to where it's at right now, versus getting a spike because of the concentrated water. So then I come back to it a few hours later to turn it back on to start dosing again. So another thing I don't know if I've talked about is that this is not the only solution that I use to keep the alkalinity, calcium, and magnesium levels in this tank. I don't know if I think I've mentioned this in my prior videos, but I'm also still using 2-part. I'm using 2-part because I've reached the limit of what Kalkwasser can do. And for those that don't know, when you use Kalkwasser, especially through an ATO, you're only able to dose no more than what your tank actually evaporates on a daily basis. And so I've guesstimated that I evaporate about 2.5 gallons a day. I am still using CO2 scrubber, and I mentioned it on one of my previous videos that my effects are not the same. Even before I started running Kalk Reactor and I was solely on 2-part and using the CO2 scrubber for the pH increase, it didn't used to dip under 8.1 at night, and I was having great success with it. I don't know what's changed. Some of you have asked if I've done the recirculating to make the media last. I've tried everything I could. The only thing I haven't tried, but I don't think it'll make a difference, is attaching I guess a humidity filter, if that's what you want to call it, that traps all the humidity before it reaches the CO2 scrubber, because I was having issues where so much humidity collected within the tube and then into the CO2 scrubber that at the bottom I would have water collect and eventually make the CO2 media useless because it would get wet. But before it even started getting wet, I wasn't having the results, and now I'm using it in the basic manner again, where it's not recirculating, which is where I would have the best effect before, and it's not anymore. I'm not going to worry about it because honestly I'm loving the way Kalk Reactor is working so far, and I'm going to keep using it. So the next change that's going to happen here is that I will be installing a Kalk Reactor sometime in the hopefully near future. But if anybody knows me, I have a bad habit of buying things and waiting 9 months to a year to install them. So the Kalk I actually acquired, and I want to say thank you to Matthew at Under the Sea. He had a used Reef Octopus CR200 calcium reactor with a pump and everything. I'm a little bit intimidated by connecting a calcium reactor, but I'm definitely going to do my homework and my research before I install it. Now, I could say that I wasn't planning on getting a calcium reactor anytime soon because the price was really very intimidating, I'll be honest. I was happy with buying the Kalkwasser and buying BRS's 2-part. I felt that that's been very cost effective. But after all the growth that you saw in the last video, it is consuming a lot more, and therefore that's when I decided to add the Kalk Reactor, because I felt that I was using way too much 2-part. Now that's the point of the calcium reactor, according to videos I've already watched and the research that I've already done. Especially a big calcium reactor, you can have that media last for over a year, and once you have it dialed in, you're good, you're golden, right? That's the expectation that I'm having. Again, I got this used calcium reactor from Matthew at Under the Sea
for $100.
And I just felt like, you know what, I wasn't planning on doing it anytime soon, but the fact that it's $100 bucks, I can't let it pass. So that's another thing that's coming in the future. A video, of course. I am planning on dedicating a video to it, my process in cleaning it and all that, to get it ready for use. So look forward to that video sometime in the future. I've also made some changes to the peninsula, and right now would call them huge changes when it comes to the aquascaping. So look forward to that video here in the near future as well. Again, you don't want to miss everything that's coming in the year of 2023. So again, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I hope you're excited for the giveaway. I'm excited to give away corals.
We are so excited!
And like my daughter said, we're so excited. She loves being generous and being kind to people and you know, sharing what we have. So she's definitely an inspiration to, you know, give, right? I think I mentioned everything, right? So I fill this up with a few tablespoons at a time. Every month or month and a half, I'll disconnect this. I take it over to the sink. I wash everything out, clean it, and then come back and fill it back up with auto top of water and hook it back up. Drop a new Kalkwasser in there, and every time I run out of one of these is whenever I decide to clean it up. It's been doing great. It's kept my pH up. It's kept my calcium alkalinity up. I haven't seen much difference with the magnesium. So this is supposed to have magnesium and strontium. I haven't been able to measure strontium. I did send an ICP, a Trident ICP recently, so I can check all my trace elements and all these things like that. Magnesium, I haven't seen much of a difference, to be honest. It continues to go low little by little, so I do know that I'll need to dose some. And honestly, that's it. There's more updates on the tank as well that I feel like I need to do. I'll touch base a little bit on that. So I've had a little bit of STNing on some of my corals. Not all of them. A lot of them are doing great, but there are some like Walt Disney, Bill Murray, my PC Rainbow. So, I mean, a lot of them are doing it. And I could guarantee that I've sat here for 30 minutes to an hour at a time, leave, come back for another hour, and literally stare at this tank for a while. I actually worked from home not too long ago, and I tried to keep an eye on my tank as much as I can on 2 suspects. And those suspects were, of course, the most recent add to this tank before all this started happening was the fox face. And then the one that I know everybody will most likely point at will be the bannerfish, the butterfly bannerfish that has taken care of all my aptasia. But I could tell you that I've kept an eye on these, and look at all, like, if you noticed the last, because some of that die-off is happening, and you most likely didn't catch it on the last video because it's not that obvious yet. But all that LPS is doing great. You'd think that they'd go for all that LPS first before they'd go for SPS. But it's odd how it's just specific pieces. The most common one is actually the tenuous acroporus are the ones that are suffering the most. The other change that I did is I started a balling method from a brand called Reef Flowers, you know, and so my thought was, let's try it. Let's see, you know, if I see any improvement. Let's see if it's something that I want to continue with. And that's actually the closest connection that I can connect to this. I did not get ICP analysis to look at my trace elements. I assumed that, you know, I followed the directions. It said, you know, equal amounts of each one. But the problem that I noticed is that my tank consumes more alkalinity than it does calcium. And these trace elements, they normally recommend for you to add specific amounts of trace elements based off your calcium consumption. And so what I'm thinking and what I saw was my calcium went up. When I was trying to dose equal amounts of calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium in the trace elements, the calcium shot up. The magnesium was going up too, but not as fast as the calcium was. So my assumption is that my trace elements went up as well. And if it really truly does consume as fast as calcium does, then I may have poisoned my tank with too much trace elements. And so I did I've been doing, actually, I've already done 3 major water changes, 50% or more. And I did one this last time, but I'm still seeing some corals that are not coming back from it, some SPS. And so that's when I decided to send in the Trident lab results. Again, you have my red Setosa Manipora, my bubblegum Digi, a green Millipora that I have. You'll see the WWC After Party. You'll see my Orange Passion Tenuous. The ones that I'm mentioning right now, the Sin City Tenuous from Cornbread, these are doing actually great. The polyps are out. What's funny is, and you know what, let me bring you closer. So you'll notice there's my Orange Passion, and it looks great, polyps out and everything. And then one that I can't explain. So you'll see right under the Orange Passion, right there, and then right there, those have, where the skin is still there, the polyps are all out. They're all extended, really fluffy, but they continue to STN. And I've watched videos of people saying, you know, this is happening and I can't explain it, and I'm in that same situation. You'll see if Freckles moves, you'll see that one, and then you'll see that one full of polyps. I mean, I'm hoping you could catch it on the video, but it's very, very fluffy. But it still has some areas on the side of this one especially. I don't think you catch it, but there's already green, like algae growing on it, on dead area. And so it's very hard to explain. There's my Walt Disney that honestly, I mean, it was literally bleaching from the bottom up. And so I cut 3 frags here from the areas where it wasn't STNing yet, hoping that it does no longer STNs there, and maybe I can grow it somewhere else in this tank. But then you'll look at my Holy Grail. You'll look at, that's a Hellfire torch back there. Then at all this Ghanies, and you'll see, you know, they state that Ghanies is one of the hardest ones to keep, and you used to not be able to keep it alive. But you'll see how extended these polyps are. I mean, all these Ghanies are doing great. My mushrooms are doing great. You'll see Princess Peach back there is doing great. There's the Bubblegum Digi. This blue-green Tabling Acro, that's the CB Sin City. All the polyps all out. But then you'll see death right there. There was a death behind this one, but that's because of, I honestly say this one is because this one, it's a green Bubblegum Digi, but man is it territorial and it takes a lot of space. I had a Pikachu back there, that's dead. That there was a coral and SPS right on the sorry about the blurriness, right on that, and it's dead. And so I've kept an eye on, you'll see the fox face right here, and then you'll see the bannerfish right here. I've kept an eye on these guys, and I can tell you that while I've watched them from afar sometimes too, because I feel like sometimes they might know that I'm watching them, that they have not touched any of these corals. I mean, I have a Bowerbanky back there. I have a man. Right now, while I'm on camera, I'll forget all these names. Right? I have a Chalice back there. I have all these LPS. These were dying in the peninsula, and they're like thriving in here now. And you'll see all these other LPS. That even my Scolies are coming back, which were a big issue. You'll see it here. But it's just, I don't understand it. And so the only thing I can chalk this up to is I hate to say this, because I know there's some that will say, oh no, there's no such thing as, corals just die. But at some point something affected these tenuous and these other SPS, and there's just no coming back from that shock, right? So even if your water parameters, even if you feel that you're doing everything great and everything's good again, I feel that there's just no coming back from it for those corals. And so at this point, honestly, I'm not going to worry too much about it, because the rest of the tank, like the Cali Tort, the Green Millie, this, I'm not sure what the name of that one is. They're all, the bigger percentage of these are doing very, very well. So you have this one that's all fuzzy and encrusted. That one you can see the polyps all out and encrusting too. I mean, I just, Rainbow Loom right there is doing very, very well. And so, then you have the Anacropora, I think it's Green Goblin. That they're all doing very, very well. So I don't want to change things. I didn't change parameters. I could tell you that. So I want to make sure that if you're going through something like this, the last thing you want to do is change parameters. Oh, maybe I should move the alkalinity to 12 or this to that. Or all I did was a water change, which I think it's something that we all can agree on, that if there's something wrong, the first thing you want to do is a water change. And that's exactly the first thing that I did, was a water change, so that if for whatever reason it is elevated trace elements that may be affecting this, then the water change should have neutraled that down. And I stopped dosing those, I stopped the the balling method, and went back to BRS's 2-part solution for now. And maybe I'm done messing with trace elements for some time until I can fully understand them. I can tell you my actual parameters in case you're curious too, because I actually did do I did check that yesterday, and I was at 9.1 alkalinity, 461 on calcium, 1360 on magnesium. I was at 0.39 in phosphates and 3.1 on nitrates. Using the majority of my testers are Hanna, and then some Salifert there too. But again, I don't see anything off of from those parameters. I don't think any of it is high to a point where it would affect anything here. So I'm pointing at either the trace elements, or maybe the fish know where I'm watching them, and as soon as I turn my back is when they go at it, right? So, all right, I'll leave y'all here. Again, if you are not subscribed, I would suggest you consider subscribing. Get ready for that giveaway. I will, once we hit the 1,000, and I will plan for a video to come up after with whatever other videos I've recorded. I'll let y'all know the rules. I'm really hoping that one of the best ways to share this channel is to hit that like button The more likes I get, the more YouTube recommends this to other like-minded reefers, and I will truly appreciate that. That hopefully then gets us to the 1,000 mark and get ready for the giveaway. All right, see you all on the next one.